Hey, what's up, my little Pretties? It's your mistress, the Queen of Lions here, and today we're back with episode 73 of Shadows and Pretties. So, in this today, I am going to be talking about a movie called Barnyard. Now, this is basically based on a television series called Back at the Barnyard, which is based on the film Barnyard. Well, kind of is animated television series. It ran on Nickelodeon for two seasons from 2007 to 2011. Now, gonna take a look at this movie. It has been a really long time since I last sat there and touched the movie, because back then when I was a kid I saw this and I liked it as a kid. Now I still really like this movie, although there are some, a few issues with it, but, you know, I will be getting to that. But I could definitely say that Barnyard was a really good movie back when I was, a kid. I used to like this movie back then. It's still a pretty good movie in my opinion, although I do respect other people's opinions. Like, if they don't like this movie, that's totally fine. Like, that's just my own opinion. But anyways, I am going to be talking about, well, Back at the Barnyard, just so then you guys will kind of get an idea of, what this movie is about and that. So, to be completely and utterly honest, I'm going to sit here and, explain, my thoughts and opinions on this movie. Now, anyways, I will be, kind of explain the plot of, about it, just in case for any of you guys who haven't seen the movie in a while would want a refresher, or to anybody who has not seen this one. If you do not want spoilers, I highly recommend you not watch this movie. Well, not watch this video if you don't want any spoilers. Just thought I would, let warn you guys, because this usually in Shadows and Pretties it contains spoilers. Just thought I would forewarn you guys before, we do that. Now, this is actually one of the pretty interesting, Nickelodeon, shows, and movies as well, because this is a movie I'm talking about. I could definitely say it's a lot better than Home on the Range, which, to be honest, Home on the Range was just not good. That's just to me, though. I did not like Home on the Range. If you like that movie, that's fine, but that's just my opinion on it. So, I'm just gonna basically sit there and, explain, my opinions on it. And, with that being the case, so with that being said, let's begin. So Barnyard came out sometime in 2006, and basically this movie is about Otis, who is a cow who prefers playing with his friends rather than accepting responsibility, much a change in his strict adoptive father and barnyard leader Ben. So Otis interrupts a barnyard meeting with his wild antics one day, and Ben warns his son that he will never be happy if he spends his life partying without acting more maturely. So Otis ignores his advice and leaves to have fun with his friends Pip the mouse, Freddy the ferret, Peck the rooster, Pig the pig, and Duke the sheepdog. But on that same day, Otis meets a pregnant cow named Daisy, who is accompanied by her friend Bessie. Now, Abby was not in this movie, to be honest. Abby was introduced a little later. But the reason why I'm sitting here wanting to go through, the Shadows and Pretties episode of this is because I want to do some, Shadows and Pretties episodes when I talk about movies or shows involving pregnancy. Like, it's not going to be all the time, but I kind of want to start doing that at certain times. Like, there might be a Shadows and Praise episode will it have a pregnant woman or a pregnant animal or something like that. The reason why I wanted to do that is because if you know this one user named the Chipmunk, he used to do pregnancy movie reviews, but unfortunately he quit sometime in 2019. That was a few years ago, not that long ago actually. It's been almost 2 years since he quit. But I was originally going to do pregnancy movie reviews, but I thought, you know what, I'll do, Shadows and Pretties that involves certain movies that I review with pregnancy. Now, with the fact that, um, Daisy is pregnant in this, it actually, has a really good detail on, on the pregnant cow. Even though they don't show very much of Daisy being pregnant, she is still a pretty cool character character, but unfortunately she's not in the Barnyard show. Instead of, well, you could definitely, instead of Daisy, you get Abby in the show. Just thought I would let you guys know. So after the night at the farmer went to bed, the animals throw a party at the barn. All the animals in the barnyard are there except Ben, who guards the fence line. However, Otis is assigned to a shift along with Ben, but Otis talks himself out of work, as before he leaves, Ben tells him that the night he found him as a baby calf stumbling alone in the meadow, he swore that he starts dancing, which of course reminded himself that he did to find his place that was at his farm. So soon after, Ben takes on a pack of coyotes led by Dag, who is the villain, who raided the chicken coop during the rainstorm. He manages to fight the pack until he is bitten by the leg by Dag, making him fall. So the coyotes pile on Ben, but he manages to grab Dag's leg and escape the pile by using Dag to overpower the coyotes. Then he threatens to punch Dag and lets him go, but scaring him as the coyotes run into defeat. When Ben falls on the ground exhausted, Otis is alerted and he runs outside to his father, who dies from his injuries. So Ben, unfortunately, the next morning was buried on a hill by the farmer and the other animals mourn for Ben's loss as the farmer leaves, except for Otis. So following Ben's death, all the animals elect Otis as the new leader of the barnyard, when Otis shirks his duties as leaving Freddie and Peck in charge of the coop. Then he, of course, went some trouble making Jersey cows, Eddie, Egg, and Bud, and teach him a lesson. So the fat youngster was called Eugene, or Snotty Boy, Beatty for cow tipping, of course, eluding the police along the way. Later on that night, Otis then shares a romantic moment with Daisy, where she reveals that her husband and the rest of her herd were killed during the flood. When Otis comforts her and holds her hoof under the starlight, he overhears the coyotes chasing a rabbit, so he leaves to persuade the coyotes and avenge his father's death. However, Otis tries to fight the coyotes, but he's outnumbered since Otis is weaker. Dag proposes a deal, and he said his pack will take various barnyard animals at random times, and that if Otis tries anything to do about it, they will slaughter basically everyone at the barnyard. So Otis decides to leave the barnyard, realizing his chance of victory were slim. However, the next morning before leaving, Otis is informed that the coyotes took one of the hens, including Maddie, a little chick who looks up to him. Otis realizes that Dag is the trouble across him. He was not expecting him and the coyotes until nightfall. He sets off on the rescue of the chickens. So Otis goes to the junkyard to fight off the pack and gains the upper hand of the fight until Dag bites him in the leg, but Pip and Duke and Pig and Freddie, Peck and Miles and a mule that is Ben's old friend and the Jersey cows arrive to help Otis. Dag tries to attack Otis from behind, but is alerted when Peck successfully manages to throw to Crow a warning. Otis then evades Dag's attack and threatens to punch him like Ben did, but he warns him never to return to the barnyard before sending him flying out of the junkyard and finally avenging his father's death. So I could definitely say when I saw this movie as a kid, I never knew how dark this movie was as a kid, but now looking at this as an adult, I could definitely say that this one did have dark moments in the movie, but it actually played out pretty good well with it. And I honestly really do like how it all went out. Like, there were some parts of the movie that actually played out really neat. I do really get to say that it actually had a pretty good movie when it came to that. So when I was watching this movie as a young kid, I honestly really fell in love with it. It was actually well made in detail. It actually played out a really good, good plot line with this. Now, I know a friend of mine named the Shadow Reader. He actually likes Barnyard, so he may like this review, and I really hope he does see this someday. On their way back from the junkyard, Pip reveals to Otis that Daisy went into labor after he left, so Otis and the rest of the animals steal a biker gang's motorcycles to make from a diner and make it back to the barn to witness Daisy, who gives birth to a calf, which is a boy, who names it Little Ben. Otis then takes the full responsibility, becomes the new leader of the barnyard, and he watches the stars of himself with Daisy and Little Ben dancing like Ben did. So the movie ends with one last scene where Miss Speedy gets ready for bed when she notices Wild Mike is on top of her head in her hair while looking at herself in the mirror in her house. So that basically is the ending to the Barnyard movie. Now, I could definitely say this movie was actually awesome. It actually played out a really good concept. Now, I definitely have to say all the actors did a pretty good job. I have to say right now, I really like the acting in this movie. I love the fact that Kevin James was Otis the cow in this movie. I think Kevin James did a really good job with it. So I definitely was surprised that Kevin James was in this, and I was really glad he did because he was a pretty cool he's a pretty cool actor, and he did pretty well when it came to watching this movie. So anyways, Barnyard was released in theaters in 2006. And of course, it was released on VHS and DVD on December 12th of 2006 in separate widescreen and full screen versions. Of course, the DVD includes an alternative opening, a Barnyard Bop music video, comic book creator, and of course, it includes some certain stuff. So, unfortunately, this movie had mixed reviews saying that there was some stuff that was not that great and stuff like that. So there were at least a few times that there was like parts of the movie partway through that was actually there was parts of the movie that kind of didn't really make a whole lot of sense, and there was other ones that kind of really had some interesting stuff, but it just didn't really make a whole lot of sense, or it just wasn't didn't really have an explanation why. Like, there was some places in this that didn't explanation of, why certain things happened the way they did. Like, there was barely any explanation in certain parts. But I definitely have to say that this movie actually played out well. It was pretty well made in detail. It was good. Now, even though it had some mixed reviews, people saying, oh, this sucks because of this, I definitely have to say that this one was actually, it's not a bad movie, I have to say. Like, if it's not a bad movie. Like, if you want to watch something really interesting and good, I highly recommend you check out this movie if you want to check out this movie. Now, when I first saw this, I was honestly thinking that this movie actually was not going to be good at first, but I found out that this movie was actually pretty well made in detail. I definitely have to say the character development, and even though the animation was really well done, the animation of this was pretty well made in detail, especially for a film made in 2000. It actually amazed me to sit there and see that the cows like Otis and certain other characters were actually having a really great time when it came to this movie. Now, I definitely really have to say I really enjoyed how this movie went out, but yeah, I understand, if some people don't like this movie, that's fine. If you like this movie, that's understandable. But to be honest, I actually really liked how this movie went out, especially when I first saw it. It actually played out a really good movie and a really good, storyline and all that. Although it may not be the best storyline I've seen, it's still a really good, storyline. It actually is better than no storyline at all. I know that might be something different I don't usually say, but some people really don't really like this one. But I could respect people's opinions. Like, if they don't like the movie, that's fine. If they like it, that's cool. Like, I kind of think that this movie actually played out really well in detail with the concept. The characters actually were pretty interesting, especially in the show. Unfortunately, though, to be honest, Daisy never appeared in the show, and she only appeared in the movie, which unfortunately that was actually the case. But however, it was never really revealed what happened to Daisy and Lil Ben between the events of the film and the series when Abby joined. But I kind of have a theory of what happened to Bessie. Bessie might have, not Bessie, Daisy. Daisy probably got sold by, another farmer to another farmer with Lil Ben. So that is quite possible. That's what I think. I think that's what happened. I'm not really sure if that's actually what happened, but yeah, if you think that that's what happened or something, I would like to hear your, I'd like to actually hear your, theories on that. So feel free to leave me theories down in the comments below, because I would like to hear one of your theories and opinions on it. But I definitely have to say this movie is a must watch. If you are a fan of Barnyard or Nickelodeon in general, you will probably like this movie. Anyways, with that being said, what did you guys think about this movie? Did you guys enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what would you have done personally to help make this, movie a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell when I upload. And as always, I'll be catching you all in the next video. Peace out.